Thank you, President. I raise a matter for the attention of the Premier. Small rural communities in the shires of the Mornington Peninsula, Cardinia and Yarra Ranges, places such as Shoreham, Red Hill, Lang Lang, Iona, Hillsville, Monbulk, Mount Dandenong and many others are COVID-free and 50, 60, 70, 80, up to 100 kilometres from the current COVID clusters in Melbourne's west and the inner part of Melbourne. However, the government includes these communities as part of metropolitan Melbourne, and therefore they are currently locked down and suffering terribly as a consequence. Now Mr. President, the Mayor of the Mornington Peninsula Shire has recently written to the Premier on the 13th of August, and I quote from her letter. She says, "We assert that the adoption of the metropolitan Melbourne administrative boundary to control the spread of a pandemic does not appear to be based on current health indicators as illustrated when comparing the Mornington Peninsula Shire with regions such as the City of Greater Geelong. The City of Greater Geelong is presently facing reduced restrictions due to its classification as a regional area despite having active cases. The Mornington Peninsula has no active cases, with only one case in the past 10 months. Council urges the government to approach any restrictions imposed in a more sophisticated manner based on current health indicators across the Mornington Peninsula, not an administrative boundary that has no direct link to the spread of the pandemic." And I think that's very well put by the Mayor of the Mornington Peninsula Shire. And similarly, Councillor Burnett Wake of the Yarra Ranges Shire Council has called for a common sense and practical approach to the lockdowns. She says, however, we're not getting one in respect to the Yarra Ranges. Our regional townships, communities and businesses are suffering without need for no benefit to a single resident of Victoria. This senseless damage to rural communities needs to be stopped. President, in many cases, whether it's from some government departments, whether it's for the delivery of freight, mail, other goods, classification by the federal government, classification by other non-government agencies. The Mornington Peninsula Shire, parts of Cardinia and parts of Yarra Ranges are deemed rural. And indeed, the government's recent voucher program for regional Victoria included the Mornington Peninsula. And we're seeing with the application of health restrictions to specific tower blocks, apartment tower blocks, to specific postcodes. And we saw last year the Mitchell Shire come in and out of the metropolitan restrictions. So the action I would seek from the Premier is that he ask for an urgent review from the Chief Health Officer of the inclusion of these rural communities as part of Melbourne's lockdown that is causing so much economic damage.